Well, I'm going to be powdering cranberries that I dehydrated here and storing them, and then you can put them in drinks like breakfast drink or smoothies. Or you could put them into just, water with some lemons and ice in the summer. It adds a beautiful red color and, of course, lots and lots of nutrients. So, I have the dehydrator over here a little bit. First time I've done that. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing the sheets to right there and scraping them with a spatula to loosen it, and then putting them into the blender and then into the jar. So hopefully this will work. I'm on sheet number 2, and I found by using a spatula that it comes off pretty easily off of the parchment paper, which I have used and reused multiple times. And then I'm going to be putting this in the oven one last time, because if I don't turn that dehydrator on every day, and these have been in here quite a while because I had to go up to the new property to teach and to do some things up there with electricity and planting, though it was horrible weather. And I just left these in the dehydrator, so I've turned it on multiple times since then, but this cranberry seems to absorb any moisture out of the air. And despite the fact that we've had sunshine and warm temperatures for once this spring, the last few days, it still feels like they're a little bit leathery to me. So after I've dehydrated, I will be putting them on cookie sheets on my lowest oven setting, which is 170 degrees, for a few minutes to make sure that all the moisture is driven out when they're being stored. So I have this all on the sheet now. I don't know what all is showing, and I'm going to dump this, hopefully without spilling. I have it sitting on a cookie sheet just in case I do, and then it's fairly easy to get off of that into the blender. So we're almost clear, but there are a few more pieces there. And I'm finally going to throw this parchment paper out this round. I've done beets on this. I've done, I can't remember what else that was small. Anyway, I have used and reused this parchment paper probably at least 10 times for different things. And I think it's to the point where it's time to toss it. And especially with this spatula, I'm getting I saw a tiny hole in this one, but I think this is past its useful life. But every time you reuse something, you cut the cost in half. And then you can do that if you do it 3 times, you cut the cost to thirds. And if you do it 4 times, you've cut the cost of whatever item it is you're using by a fourth. It makes a big difference. Going to be noisy, but I don't want to turn this camera on and off. I've got it balanced up on eye bolts and 2 containers with drill bits, and then on the back side it's propped up on a pair of scissors and some drivers that go with the DeWalt tools in order to get it at the right angle. So we're going to bear with the noise for a minute. It doesn't take long. That should be it. And actually, I tasted some in this jar, and they were pretty tasty. No sugar. They weren't as sour as I thought they'd be. These are cranberries that I got from Azure Standard in a 5-pound box. They're frozen. And when I dehydrated them, I cut them all in half. I cut them in half so that they would, dry more readily, because I've seen that like blueberries and cranberries, again, this is YouTube, I absolutely love YouTube, they are saying that sometimes if that skin is whole, they don't completely dry in the middle. So I did take the time to cut these in half. Oh, I started doing that, and it was taking too much time. So I have this handy dandy little food processor that fits on this Oster blender from back in the 70s, and I put them in there and whirred them a couple of times, and that broke them up into bits, and it went a whole lot easier. So I'm not quite sure. I'll move this around so you can see it. You can buy these on eBay, and I found one, not this, but this whole unit in a thrift store, and it was $5, I believe, on Senior Day. And I made them plug it in to see if it worked, and it did. So here is another one, and I'm scraping, and I don't know how much you can see there on the film. I know we can see these, so I'll move back here. Scraping with the spatula. And this is those dollar spatulas from the Dollar Tree. Make sure it has a wooden handle. It's got 2 rivets, and the handle is secured this far back. So I bought these for stocking stuffers years ago for people, and I have 4. 1 up at the new place and 3 here. And they have lasted for years. I do not put them in the dishwasher. This is brown where it's sat in some water a little longer than it should by somebody who was a guest here. But for $1, and these are sturdy blades. They're not flimsy. They're hard to find, but I found this was a really good buy. I wonder if that crunchy sound is coming across on the video. I started doing this just with my fingers, and it was taking forever, and I found the spatula seemed to work better. And as long as you go slowly and carefully, you don't rip the parchment paper. So next batch in. And this does fill it up quite a ways, but once you get it blended, it's down. This is 2 trays worth from the Excalibur dehydrator is what this is made. So not quite even a fourth of a quart jar. Again, I apologize for the blender noise. I'm not good enough at editing to take out a few frames. I am hopefully going to get there. I just have not had time this spring to devote the hours to it that I need to learn a little bit better. So I strongly suspect that this entire 5 pounds is only going to fill 1 quart jar. So this is 3 trays, and let me see how many trays I have to go. I had a couple of other things in here, like citrus peels that I then dehydrate and put in breakfast drinks. They're fabulous. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. I'm not going to do all 4. This is 3. And so 4 to go is going to put me somewhere right in here, I would think, which isn't even a full quart from 5 pounds of frozen cranberries. And this way you're not taking up freezer space. And if your freezer goes out or your power goes out, you still have this available to use, and it doesn't have to be used up very quickly, because using up 5 pounds of cranberries at once would be quite a chore. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the rest of this and not make you sit through the blender noise 2 or 3 more times. But this is an easy way to store cranberries, and it didn't take long once they were broken up into pieces to dehydrate. It's just that I've left them in there for a couple of weeks and had to leave, and then I've come back and I've been busy doing other things since I've been here. So I'm finally getting to this today, and I'll get them, as I said, in the oven for half an hour or so on a cookie sheet in order to make sure they are thoroughly dry. Though once they're powdered, they feel quite dry. But it's just when they're in the chunk coming off of the parchment paper that they seem to have still a little bit of leathery texture to them. But maybe they don't get extremely crunchy. Some things do, some things don't. You just have to practice. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Please share this with your friends. I'm sorry the videos are not wonderful. I am going to get there. I'm trying to learn. And any support is definitely appreciated. I have so many things I want to share.